In your kitchen, you're gonna have all kinds of neat containers that you have to spin to open the lids. We always get concerned with little kids because there's a choking hazard when we work with little lids like water bottles and that type of thing. A lot of my preschool friends will be able to open water bottles without a problem, and those are really great things to practice on. But some other lids that are a little bit bigger that don't present a choking hazard would be a spice container or a container of peanuts or peanut butter if you guys don't have allergies in your house. The nice thing about these smaller containers is a little student can get their hands all the way around the lid to help them turn it, but they aren't so small that they present a choking hazard. So what I like to do a lot of times is I like to empty out one of these spice containers, pick the one that doesn't smell too bad and that you don't use very much, and put the spices in a Ziploc bag, clean out the container, and then whatever their favorite little treat is, whether it's M&Ms or Reese's peanut butter cups or chocolate chips or goldfish, you put that in the container and you put the lid on. And then you show them how to twist the container open and pour the treat out into their hand. I always put one treat in at a time because that gives them more practice to open and close. The other great part of this is activity is once they've got it open, they can learn to pour things into their hands. Pouring is a really great activity to learn because you have to be slow, you have to be careful, and you have to make sure things fall into your hand and not all over the floor. Here are a couple other lids to open and close. One thing that you'll need to be careful with kids is sometimes lids are really, really tight and you can't get it open if you've got a little hand. So when that happens, go ahead and loosen the lid for them a little bit and then let them practice opening it. And it'll make things a lot easier for them. The other thing that you need to remember is that a lot of times they haven't had a chance to open a lot of containers by themselves yet. So you might need to show them how to do it. And then show them how to close it back up. You might have to put their hand on top of the lid and then put your hand on top and actually do this activity with them hand over hand so that they can learn how to do it. But there's a lot of interesting different things in everybody's kitchen to work on opening. So twisting is a really good skill to learn. Bo heard that there were snacks to be had, so he decided he was gonna come and help me. So a lot of containers that kids have, especially for snacks and at lunchtime, are tab top containers. These are a little harder than you would think because you've got to hold it with that non-dominant hand, pinch and pull with the dominant hand. So a lot of kids have a lot of problems with this. To make it a little easier for them, I always let them try it themselves first, and if they can't do it, then what I'll do is I'll pull it part way and then they can pinch it and pull it the rest of the way, and that's a success experience for them. And they'll learn to get it all of the way. One of the hardest things to open in cafeteria is applesauce or mandarin oranges. And the thing about these containers are that even if you can pinch them and pull them, if they're pointed towards your body, I always tell the kids they're gonna burp on you, which means that the liquid from the mandarin oranges or the applesauce is gonna pop out on your clothes. A lot of my friends don't like to get messy, so we want to keep that from happening. So a way to teach them to do this where it can be neater for them and they're less worried about it is to turn the tab away from their body. And it's always easier to pull it towards your body than away from your body because you have more strength when you do it that way. So you pinch and you pull it towards your body. These two types of containers, applesauce and mandarin oranges, are really, really hard to open. So if they have a foil top like this one, there's a sneaky way to get around it. You take your spoon and you punch a hole in it. And then you use your fingers to pull the rest of the container open to get out what you need to get. There's lots of containers in the cafeteria that are gonna be hard for little hands to open. No, Bo, there's no applesauce for you. So you can use this trick with the end of your spoon or your spork on a lot of different things in the cafeteria. You can use it on the plastic bags that hold apples. You can use it on the plastic bags that hold grapes or carrots. All you need to do is you need to stick that spoon and make a hole, and then you stick your fingers in the hole and pull it apart. Next, we have containers where you need to pinch and pull. Containers that you guys might have in your house where you need to do this are goldfish containers or gummy bear or fruit chewy containers. I don't have any of those because my kids are big, so I've got some other containers that are a little bit like that to show you guys how to do it. One you might have in your house is a granola bar. And the nice thing about the edges of a granola bar is they have a serrated edge. So all of my preschoolers, I'm working with the pinch and pull method with them right now. The other things you might see, I didn't have a ketchup packet, but I've got a packet of dressing. I have a Capri Sun packet. Some of these packets will have a little cut in them to help you open them. If that happens, you use that one to your advantage. You pinch both sides of it, and usually what I do is I make sure that my non-dominant hand stays still and my dominant hand pulls the package towards me. So my thumbs need to touch each other like this, and they need to be facing my body, but they aren't, but you get the idea. And so I'm gonna hold my non-dominant hand still, and my dominant hand, I'm gonna pull it towards my body. And that's how we open those kinds of containers. We've been working on this with friends at school for the last couple weeks in paper tearing activities. So we use the same motion where they hold both pieces of the paper strip, they have their thumbs together, their non-dominant hand stays still, and their dominant hand pulls towards their body. So my granola bar doesn't have one of those little spots on it, but it's easy for you to make one. All you need to do is pull out a pair of scissors. And this makes the activity a little easier for friends if you cut a little tab, and then they can pinch and pull apart to open some of their containers. This one you can see has that serrated edge on it. I'm not gonna open it right now because I don't wanna have dressing on my salad tonight. So the other place you see containers that are really hard to open are all of our potato chip containers. Sometimes we'll get lucky and they'll have one of those little cuts on the top, and you can make that, and when you send your kids to kindergarten, you can make it in their containers, and they can learn to look for it and pinch and pull. But the other method we use to teach kids how to open these containers are pinch the sides and pull. So you pinch on the non-dominant side, you pinch on the dominant side, and you pull apart. And a lot of times kids are gonna need some hand over hand help to do that. So maybe their hands are set up this way and your hands are over the top and you pull it apart together. Or maybe you start it for them and then they just pull it apart the rest of the way to learn the motion. We have a lot of containers that they eat out of, kids snacks especially, that have that kind of opening. And what I see a lot of kids do is they'll go by and they'll go pop with their fist, and they'll pop it that way, and then chips go everywhere and there are tears. So we want to teach them the right way to open that container.